September, a little bit late, but we're here. Okay, so today we are having the full moon in Pisces, which I have done a video for it. So if you want tips and want to know any of the energy that's coming up, please look back on the main page to that video. If I have time, I will try and link it to this. We're also having a full moon in Virgo, a new moon in Virgo, which is at 25 degrees and it's on the 17th. So I'm going to talk to you about those aspects. I pulled a ruin for you, and we're going to see what's coming up for you guys. Now, do bear in mind that you do have a 2.5-year transit hitting your chart. We have the nodes in Sagittarius and Gemini at the moment, so it's very much first house placement, seventh house placement of Gemini. So communication in your relationships and your daily routine is going to change. It's also about what you have a position in your connections with your marriages, contracts, partnerships. And almost if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're thinking everything's coming at you, you're going to learn a great deal about yourself through the next 2.5 years. So yes, it can be deeply testing, but it's also a time frame in which you really do have a transformative effect in your life. So it's actually quite positive. I'll leave that as the crowning energy. Okay, so the energy of the moon, let's look at your chart. So if I'm looking this way, try not to take it personal. I'm looking at chart and I psychically interpret it. Pisces, okay, well, we're having Mars going retrograde on the 9th. That is going to be hitting your 5th house. So there can be things to do with your childhood, children, and romance and wounds can come up to do with that. Also, you may not have as much energy. So, if you're a cross watcher, and you're in a partnership with a Sagittarius and they're maybe like not acting, they're a bit more quiet in their demeanor, try not to take it personal because, a lot of people at the moment are having spiritual upgrades. We have Aries and Chiron retrograde. Wounds can be linked in that department. So, it might even be communication's the key, but the person needs to be open to being able to communicate about these things. And it can be linking to childhood as well and conditioning. Also, maybe feeling that they're spreading themselves a little bit too fine. You also had Venus in Cancer. Now, that hit your 8th house placement of shared resources. Oh, and maybe that was a bit of a touchy point. The reason being is because it is in the energy of Cancer, but it's also to do with Scorpio. And as Jupiter goes direct, things can be moving, but it's also linking to Scorpio. And how do I explain it? Shared resources, give and take in connections, looking at your contracts. Are you actually getting anything out of it? Frustration and emotions, having to do with your emotions and your childhood conditioning. Are you able to do those things? 9 times out of 10, it's not that we don't have the best of intentions to do with things, but sometimes our emotions can affect the quality that we're giving to certain areas of our life because of our emotions. So it's very important to, if you needed time, to take that time. If you have feelings to do with something and you're having to be very tough, but feeling really emotional on the inside, looking at those things and working through it to the point that you can proceed forward. So this read is going to cover whatever psychically is coming up in your general. We're going to be looking at your career and your finances, your aspirations, and family. But the family can actually be love as well. And then your romance house. And anything psychically from the chart and the ruin. Now, the ruin that you have is this. And it is in the upright, which, funny enough, it does link to the constellation Leo, Sun, Sunday, yellow, which again is inner child. So, yeah, Venus in Cancer makes sense, and it's your shared resources, and fire. So, trying to have the energy to deal with these things this month. Maybe last month was a little bit testing. Maybe you didn't have as much oomph. Maybe for the next 2 weeks it might be like that. But once we have Venus and Leo, high subjects linking to the Leo placement are going to come up, which makes sense because we have the 5th house placement, which is Aries there. So if it's getting testing, do some inner child clearing, maybe articulate to the people around you how you're feeling, that you're feeling a little bit often, and then you're able to actually deal with the adversity coming towards you. But I'm finding this to be very positive. Now, in the upright, which we're going to go higher and lower frequency through the month, success, vitality, good fortune, popularity, esoteric, the higher self, the spiritual will, enlightenment, divine blessings, reverse blindness, gullibility. Sometimes when we look at the Leo energy, it can be ego. And ego is not a dirty word. Ego is a feeling we have due to a circumstance. It's also the power and the will to actually achieve things. Somebody can say to you, hey, you can't do that. And that can actually put the fire in your belly to get these things done. And some of it is, denial energy. So if you've had headaches again, due to the energy of Leo that we had last month and moving into this month, it can be because you're trying to comprehend and understand something and you're looking at it from a certain perspective. But it will pass. Some of you may need glasses. That can be if you're getting headaches. It's a good time, just as the eyes popped up. Some of you are needing to see things clearly. And I do feel, again, your partner, if you're in a partnership, I do feel your partner's looking at you. You might be, your playful demeanor, but it's what's going on the inside that's going on. So they may not be in the loop as to that. Maybe you're not even privy to the full information yet because you're going through a soul transformation. Let's have a look. Okay, so with the ruin, you're wanting to have success out of situations. Yes, because you're governed by the energy of Jupiter. On the 13th, things will be moving forward for you. Even if you don't have the energy and even if things pop off around family and connections and children, you're really going to be energetically shown with the Capricorn energy. Oi, we're going to move forward. So try to be gentle with yourself. Yeah, anything that you didn't get off the ground, this is what's coming up this month. It's like, right, I've got to clear the deck. And yeah, 9 times out of 10, Mars goes retrograde, crap comes to you. You're like, oh, I've got to deal with this. I've been over here doing this and now it's come up. So I really do think with you guys being a Jupiter energy in nature, plus the South Nodes there, it's almost like it's D-Day. You're ready to move forward, even if you are feeling fatigued. You can use crystals to actually balance that. Definitely the energy of Pisces is hitting your 4th house placement. So if you're needing to look at your psychology of what's going on at home and the health and the vibration, it can even be moving home. A lot of you may be looking at that at the moment. If you've outgrown home, what you're going to do, what you're going to do to move forward. Now, it doesn't have to be that it's happening right now, but if you've had the download and you're aware of it, there can be some changes. Also with home, and romance has Gemini there. It's a yay or nay for you guys. And this is a very interesting time that even, there's a song that's coming to mind. Katy Perry, is it ever really over? No, yes and no. I mean, sometimes we pick the fruit before it's ripe. Sometimes we move away from situations and come back to it, and that's not bad either. It's merely the energy of the 1st and the 7th house placement takes you down a very transformative energy. Sometimes we grow together, sometimes we grow apart, but it doesn't mean it's forever. It is a very personal process in which you're going through. That's really what I'm wanting to say. So, yeah, not fun, but growth. So some of these things in the past that occurred, maybe you weren't as prepared for, because you do have 1st house placement with the nodes. So whatever you've dealt with, something shifted in you. You might not be feeling quite right. You can't quite put your finger on it. Again, it's the transit. So go with the flow. Pisces does tend to be quite psychic in nature. You guys are really great for hunches when it comes to growth. But if you feel that it's almost like you have the psychic ability to be able to check whether something is lucrative or it's an epic fail, and it's well and truly prior to it failing, that if you can't foresee growth in it, you will drop it like it's hot. So sometimes people can get very confused by that energy with you because you're the trooper, you're the Jupiter energy. What you're letting go of is something that's not working. You might be making sacrifices. You might be looking at things. You're very clear cognitively as to what it is you're going to do and what it's not. Also, energy from the past, the lower frequency, you're letting go of because you know it doesn't serve you. Some of you also could be shifting employment and just focusing on the work and the health of situations in your life. Look, you guys could be taking on moving forward. It's either A, you, or B, what you're looking for in life. And it's someone who's very determined, someone who creates healthy boundaries. And I feel it's you taking on this innate energy. Doesn't mean to say that you're a female, but the queen, you know, empathy-wise, yes. Logical-wise, very management energy coming through. That's sort of this that's coming up. Some of you may be wanting to be single, but I don't feel it's that. You're independently making a decision on truth-based energy with empathy and strength. That's what's been shown. Yep, okay, cool. Now, money. Yes, Jupiter moving direct is going to help level you up. If you haven't been busy, you're going to be busy. Depending on the industry. Now, Mars also does link to metal, iron ore, military things to that degree. It's electricity. So depending on the industry you're in, certain industries during a Mars retrograde can either get more hectic and messy or they can slow down. So it depends on how it lands. But work appears to be busy. There's going to be work. So it's almost like be careful what you're thinking, because with your money component, you're going to find creative ways to generate it. But you've got to find a solid way in which you can continue that. If it's just like a fad and you're doing something, you being Jupiter energy and it currently being in Capricorn, it's just not going to let you do it that way. Part of it, yes, is a journey. But again, as I mentioned, I do feel you're looking at the bigger picture with your finances, where you're going. So even though this is coming through in September, with 8th house placement, let me look. Yeah, after what happened last month, I really do feel your home and the dream and your finances, you're looking at the reality of it. What else? And, you know, your resources, you're looking at it going, okay, where am I going from here? What have I been accepting? And what do I want more of? Now, some of you, depending on the frequency you're at, and I'll pull lower and higher frequency, and that's not that you're a bad person. It's you could be having a really hard time right now due to some 3D circumstances in your life. So if it's really hectic, we're going to pull a crystal for you and an Abraham Hicks card. And then for those of you who are on path and, you know, just trying to change things up, that's different. I've got two vibes coming through. That one. Yeah, good old tiger one. Okay. I am grateful for other people's good fortune. See, it's about your finances. So it's in reverse. If you feel, and it's not even, again, the lower chakras, the orange chakra, the yellow chakra, do some meditate on solar plexus and sacral chakra. Lack mentality or third eye perspective, which is third eye can be deemed as ego, because you're trying to comprehend what you're wanting. It can be yours. You're in the magician energy. So it's not half glass full, half glass empty. Well, it is. What are you going to do with it? Where you stand, what are you willing to do with it? So you can use tiger iron to actually balance that. And again, feeling safe energy, physical foundation, Capricorn going direct with Jupiter, 13th of September. You are Jupiter energy, things are going to move. But it's because we're moving away from the South Node, what that means is, because it's in your Zodiac sign for 2.5 years, with you personally, if you had any wounds linking to your ability to achieve something or your ability to have self-esteem with contracts, which is odd for Sagittarius, but because you guys are Jupiter, but it can happen. If you do have that, instead of looking at their potential, stop and push it back to your potential. And it's almost like we're putting our money where our mouth is. It's like, right, this is the dream. Hermit card energy, because this is a vibration 9, and this is connected to the others. Being a 9, what tends to happen is that if you ever look at the Hermit card in the Tarot, behind him, he's a very wise man. He's moving forward, similar to Saturn and Jupiter moving forward, right? But behind him, he cannot go back. It's like, that's done. We've experienced that. We've had our mistakes. It's a bit like running a business. Okay, that didn't work. Yeah, we're reapplying it correctly. That's sort of the energy coming through. So if you can shift the energy that way, and you have been struggling with your finances, instead of looking at what other people are achieving and, you're not in competition with them. And if you are, even take from them what you can learn and then apply it to your life. And you may actually find better ways of doing it. And this is what's really coming through. If you can do that, you're going to achieve the best. Now, those of you at the higher frequency, yeah, the evil eye, what goes around comes around. I just think you're really focused on your own path. You're focused on what your abilities are, not what theirs are. We all have good and bad in life. So I feel spiritually you guys are moving forward and, moving yourself away from negative energies. Now, with your career sector, if there's harsh energy, remember Mars is retrograde. So with Mars going retrograde on the 9th, if there's a boss that's being unfair, or you feel, gee, I'm not really liking this environment, I'm picking up on their vibration. It could even be your energy, which you feel you're being unfair to them due to maybe a family-related dynamic. Or you just don't like being there anymore. The subject is going to come up, and by the 13th, I do feel you're really going to move forward. You just don't find it attractive for some of you. Others of you, it's balancing that energy out and trying to be patient. And I do feel a friend is going to give you some advice as to what to do to move forward. But I do feel many of you, if you've hit a snag in the road, and it has been like that for a few months, it is going to level up now because certain planets are going direct. But you're going to feel tired because of the energy of Mars. Okay, with your 11th house placement, which is long distance travel, it is your energy. You guys have Libra there, okay? So between now and October, some major decisions are going to be made as to your tribe. Now, it's aspirations, it's hopes and dreams, it's the people you socialize with and the social crowd in which you're in. If they're toxic, you're going to leave them behind. And that's because they're becoming dead weight in the energy. We do tend to directly attract the vibe we're at. So if we're doing something and there's flaws in that premise, you'll find 9 times out of 10 the people surrounding you may innately have that kind of element to them. It could be, for instance, you're really social and you drink, and so you attract that tribe. It could be you're really connected to your job, or you're family orientated. You're going to directly attract the tribe, but I feel there's some sense of transformation here. And some of you are questioning some of these things, and you're actually looking at the fact that potentially you might have got off path here, and now you're trying to take the bull by the horns and actually start moving things forward. You might get a bit frustrated because Mars retrograde. But just know every step you take is a step in the right direction. So even with your family, your tribe, your love interest, there could be some foolish energy here and inability to have that new start yet, because it's the devil in the detail you're working through. But I do feel a lot of you are having that light bulb moment and you're going, wow, okay, it's coming. We need to move. Things need to change. You don't hate these people, right? Because you are in love and you're not criticizing or anything to that degree. It's got nothing to do with that. I just feel part of your path is moving forward, and for a time you may not have as much time for these energies. And it doesn't mean to say that we don't have friends from all walks of life. It's that there's some things that universe is calling you to achieve and you're needing to listen. You've got to trust that. I must focus on wants to manifest wanted. Okay? That's why, because some things have gone off path there. Give and take energy, Pluto energy between now and October, major importance. 8th house, you might have had subjects coming up to do with family, to do with love, to do with your emotions, following your intuition, where you belong. Having to really look at that, having to make a judgment, because with this being a scales, Juno is direct until October. We had the retrograde effect. For you falling in this house placement, it's really time to make some major judgment calls. Who are the people in your surroundings? Are they directly wanting something from you? Is it reciprocal? Is there give and take here, or is it codependent? Checking that and actually having a look at it. but I do feel to do with the energy of Taurus. Now, Taurus falls in your 6th house, looking at your health, making balanced decisions, both with your diet, with what you're wanting to achieve, how you're moving forward. And, you know, wherever you want these luxuries to be, what you're going to do with that to bring it forward, what you're going to do to bring it full circle. Even with your work, you know, checking where the vibration of that energy is there give and take, and is everything flowing? Hi, Natasha, how are you? Okay, now in the past, there might have been a lot of gossip and things happening, very much linking in with this love interest in you. You know, there might have been clashes of wills and things to that degree. You also may hear gossip from people surrounding you. I'm hearing give them something to talk about. But again, I think it's something that needs addressing. Really checking your surroundings and the people that are around you. And if they're trustworthy individuals, do they have the best of interest with you? Yeah, this can be major conversations to do with this situation. It can also be if you've heard something either about you or a love interest. You know, is it just immaturity? Or is it relating to what's going on? And again, because you do have the 5th house of Aries, it can be to do with your children, your family, and what you're going to do moving forward for those of you that have family. Others of you, just this new beginning, wanting to move away from immature energy, focusing on your path, focusing on, you know, where you're going with your hopes, dreams, and ambitions. But there actually appears to be quite a bit to kind of pull through, and you're really going to have to, 5s are very heavy energies. In 2021, it is a vibration 5, and I went through that, I think it was in 2012, it started where I was saying 555, and yes, I can say the 5 energy, they were the necessary steps that one has to take to have the transformation, which can be deeply painful at times, but necessary. Like having to face the hard truth. It's a bit like realizing in your budget you've got $20 left, and it's you know, it's all the time, and then looking at it and going, okay, well, I've got to pay these debts off, clear it. You know, if I don't, well, hey, this is always where I'm going to be, and I don't really want to be in the pits of hell. So let's do something about this, right? Yeah, seeing the truth of this and actually, you know, just trying to dig through, because ultimately, if you don't, this star, yes, some of your hopes and dreams are going to be in doubt. Ultimately speaking, you want to get to this king energy. You want to get back on your castle and actually have everything in order and not have to have surprises, and actually show yourself, you know, what you're actually made of, because some environment or situational ship has occurred where it's really taken you away from who you are spiritually. And I feel you're being very critical towards yourself. You have high expectations of yourself. Yes, be gentle with yourself. You did have some things in the past go down that has taken you a little bit of time to recover. But it's almost like now you've blinked and you're seeing things, and you don't want to be your own worst enemy, because you know that the clock is ticking. It's time, you know, not being your own worst enemy. Okay, so agitation. Now, people around you, agitation and stress. This can do with the cycle that needs to end. And this can be your love interest energy or yours, because it can cross over, right? Let's see what's coming up. I think you're really tuning into this. It's funny because this is the relationship point of view. But it's almost like you've had your epiphanies, you got your downloads, and you're like, oh, I don't really need to say it. I'm feeling it. You know, this really needs to change. I'm not liking how this is going. I'm not saying you don't love, you do, but you're just looking at things very 3D at the moment and the bigger picture. You're really intuitive that way, and you're having to make a judgment. This can even be to do with a partnership. Okay, let's pull 3 cards for if there's a karmic involvement and if you're on a twin flame path. Okay, well, if there was, there's not, and there's not going to be, because we have the 7 of Wands in the past tense position. Yes, maybe conflict, threats, you know, verbal energy, it not being so great, separation from it. All right, and they're taking their energy back and actually moving forward like a Jupiter energy. But I do feel with this being fire energy, it's also burning things away and giving this person the tools to be able to liberate themselves from this situation. So I don't feel that to be an issue. And I think most energies at the moment are really going to be moving forward with these scenarios. So at the moment, you may be feeling, can I do anything right? Right? And this can be them or you in this romantic connection, be it you're in contact or not. Energy is fluid. You know, like, what do I do? Egoic purge. Don't know what to do, but directly connected to this relationship and the external energies, where you stand to date, this is what it is. Now, there could have been a betrayal of the past. Do I stay? Do I go? Energy, where do I belong? Who do I belong with? This could be your side, their side. Dropping it like it's hot. Now, dropping, what I'm saying when I say drop it, this could be you coming to terms with things, wanting balance and time to rebuild. So whatever the adversity is that you guys are working through on each side of the fence, it is for the bigger picture. It will be balanced. Yes, the fresh start is coming, and that's a double Libra energy here. So again, because you have Libra, you got Gemini in the 7th. I did say to you, marriages, contracts, and partnerships are in focus for the next 2.5 years. Libra currently is in your 11th house. You need to make judgments connected to your hopes and dreams and aspirations between now and October. It's major for this transit. Plus, we'll be moving into mid-month, you know, sort of like the Libra energy as we proceed forward into October. So you're going to find that frequency coming through regardless. So judgment energy, whatever you're moving through this month, please do trust the process. Listen to your guides. Trust in the intuition. If you're needing to come to terms with things, you know, keep working through it. But what I'm saying is there's going to be a whole 360 because something that isn't supposed to be there is being shifted. Any questions in the house? I hope this resonated for you. If you wish to book a private reading and you want me to cross-reference between your chart and your love interest chart, or tune into your twin flame journey, your career, your loved ones that have passed over, the link is below. And I will come back a bit later. The next video I do end up doing, because I've managed to get through the 12 zodiac signs. I have a client today in the afternoon, a few. The next one, watch the community tab. I will be doing the twin flame update. And I may actually do 3. Might do the energy of the masculine, because they've got a 3-month transit. And I'll be doing regular twin flame updates this month. If anything, really. And energy. Keep an eye on the shaman residence. Keep your chakras balanced, guys. Use Tumberline for psychic protection with Pisces moon. Oh, thanks, Dale. How are you doing? How's that garden going? Have you got the goat yet? Hopefully, yes. What time is it now? It's 12. I've only got about 40 minutes and I've got a client, so I don't want to get into the twin flame channeling. I want to be able to sit. So I'll have a break and it'll be in the arvo. Or tonight. I should probably do it beforehand, really. I always end up having my evening. I love having the evening fluid so that if I get downloads, I can just go. It's what? It's going, no goes. Cool. Cool. Can't wait. I want to see it. Did you like my photos last night? Did you like my comedy? We had a bit of comedy last night. I was dared to get some handcuffs, so I got some handcuffs. You got to have a joke, right? You got to laugh. Some of you do feel your hands are tied. Every relationship I establish is eternal. Yes, there is a spiritual connection here. Feeling sassy. Oh, that's me. I've got a little bit of Gemini in my chart, but it's just cusp. So as Mark says, I'm the little... I can go from very professional to... Oh, sometimes energy with Ascension, you just got to let your hair down. You just got to be crazy. You just got to tap into that Pisces a bit. Playful. Playful, I tell you. It's just jokes. Just jokes. We've all got a little bit of Lilith in us, right? And I don't mean that from a, you know, devil energy sort of thing. Anywho, I love yous. Thank you for your donations, guys. For those of you on the channel that donate, I love it. What do you see about me and my friend? I don't know why I'm seeing something to do. I'm seeing a location. Now, I don't know why they're showing me this, but there is a location on a street. It may be somewhere you go or are going to be going. I think it was go. Now, okay, whatever this vision is they're showing me, there is a street and there is a building. And in this building, it does look like a bistro. But it's got a very long counter. It's either a cafe. I don't know why they're showing me this location. What are they into? Do they have a business venture or something they're looking at? Because their mind is showing me this location. Do they own something or manage something, or do they have this creative idea? You got point blank zero, no idea. Because this is what they're showing me. Their guides are showing me this location. They want to get back. They want to get their power back. They also want to feel very successful. Does that make sense? He's building up his... Yeah, but it's like, okay, so maybe what I'm seeing is this is the entry to this building. And it might be his base where he runs the business. It's growing. I can say that. It definitely is growing. So it does feel like it's a brand new premises though. So whatever this is a brand new premises. It's much larger. It almost looks interior decorated. And I'm seeing red. It's like there's a bulkhead there. Feels like there's a wood counter, which is, you know, walking in. But I do feel he's going to add other things to it. And it's going to branch out. It won't just be the way he's been thinking it's going to be. It's actually going to, I'll give you an example, solar panels or something like that. It just feels like he's adding to it. There's something else adding to it. But yes, I'm being shown this, and I think after this, if you like, have you had communication with this person? Because I just feel they're being really busy. Are you with this person or in communication? Because I'm being shown a time frame. Does that make sense? Interesting. Funny things energy show me. That's Sagittarius for you. They're like, oh, I want to show you this. I love their stories. Not in communication. Well, I'm being shown, it does sort of feel once that's completed, you're probably going to get communication. It's almost like they're Jupiter energy, man. They're like, yeah, I've got to do this. Oh, do you know what I've been doing? My brother's Sagittarius. Love him to bits. He's a character. Characters, I tell you. I've got my girlfriend's husband is also a Sagittarius. Big shout out to him. They always underestimate themselves. That's okay. I'm telling you, the hard part is Sagittarius, what they're going through. They're going to be different people. What they are going through spiritually, if you've seen the egoic side of them, that's going to be dead and gone. Even if we don't accept our awakening, it's going to happen even if we don't. The only time we don't is when we're in ego. I can't tell if his feelings for me are genuine. Well, if they're not and they're not showing them genuine, look, 9 times out of 10 when the person's healing, the only time they're genuine is when they're being genuine to themselves. And that's any human being. So step back, create the healthy boundary, and, you know, actually expect the best for yourself. If you're wanting more, you'll get more. And if they don't, then they're not going to make the cut, are they? And that's with any human being. And energy is fluid. So if you want energy coaching and you want me to tune into it, you can book a reading and I can show you how to transform that. Because it is very much energy. Their energy blockages, perspectives and perceptions, purging codependent energy, and you can manifest it. It's because it'll just come to you. You won't even need to do anything. You've shifted your frequency, therefore it is what it is, and it directly comes to you. And if they came to you differently, you would find it very amusing. You wouldn't resent them. It wouldn't be an egoic effect of I'm better than you. It's just you wouldn't expect more from someone who hasn't grown. You wouldn't even take it personal, because it's not a personal thing. But you wouldn't want crumbs either. You outgrow crumbs. You're like, well, that's nice. You do you, but I'm not going to chase up after you. Will we do that with friends? When we have low self-esteem, yes. And we're moving through it because someone's hurt us. But after a while, you do get to the point, look, I have a very high vibration life and I've got a lot to do. I am an important being too. So if you're going to not contact me, cool, have fun with that. But I'm going over here because I'm investing in my high vibration life. And it does, the laws of attraction. You become extremely attractive. And then they're like, why hasn't that person done the same as what they usually do? I'm usually getting text messages. They're usually chasing up after me. Maybe they've forgotten me. It does it a 360. Now you need to hold true to that and not contact. But you don't need to tell a person how amazing you are, sweet. I know what you mean, though. You know, when we're saying that, we're almost perplexed at the fact they don't see it, but yet internally we're allowing it. So theoretically, we do actually feel semi-like we're not worth it. We're coming to terms with that. You won't need makeup to be amazing. You won't need to be great and perfect at all times to be amazing. You're showing up. You're a good catch. So, you know, if you're not ready for a good catch, I respect that. I'm not going to take it personal. I remember one time meeting a very, very special person years ago, and my attitude towards connections had changed, which was great. And there were people groveling over this gentleman, which I did end up marrying. And I remember finding it very amusing because I had gained my self-esteem and I wasn't looking for a connection, but he seemed like a lovely gentleman. And I remember saying to him, look, if you want to go in and have fun, you can go in there and have fun with those people, or here's my number and feel free to contact me and we'll catch up for a coffee. I had no intention of calling, running, chasing, groveling, begging, or trying to encourage the person to actually date me, because I knew my worth and I was really outgrowing the energy of clubbing, games, and third-party energy. So it's like, look, I'll accept if that's what you want to do, but that's not where I'm at in my life. So make peace with it and continue with your life. And if they keep mucking about, you just don't have time for that. They're all experiences, but we need to choose the channel we're going to operate from. So if he doesn't call you, don't call him. You have told him, you gave him your resume. I'm sorry, I feel I'm an amazing person and I deserve more than crumbs. So now you can't go back on your word and then go take crumbs. You just can't. Or you're actually selling the wrong story. So yeah, when it comes up for you, breathe, do something different, keep yourself busy and go. And, you know, if you need to, touch base with me on Messenger or something, and I'll send you some motivational songs, love. That when you get into that, you know, there's one that I used to use just to make sure I didn't do that phone call. And I was like, heck to the no. And it was, it's funny. It's a great song. And I gave it to a girlfriend the other day because her partner broke up with her. And I was like, no. It's, what's her name? Kylie Minogue, Get Out of My Way. Because the thing is, right, you know, when I would listen to that, I would dance in the living room and I would reiterate to myself that, look, you leave an amazing woman. If you think that amazing woman is going to be single for long, it's just not humanly possible. I'm really sorry. So if you want to play with the little boys and the little girls, you can go and do that. But I won't be single for long. And it's not that you have to go back into a relationship. I wasn't interested in a relationship. It was reminding myself that, no, I was more than crumbs. And the people that end up accepting crumbs end up being very karmic in nature, and it really turns out disastrous. I'm just saying it all, right? Yeah. And guys actually don't like that. We're not karmics, right? I'm trying to channel that energy into my business and building up my life. Yeah, it takes time, but yeah, keep doing it. You feel liberated. Oh, thanks, Star. We all go through it, you know. We're human. We all go through this transformation. It's sucky. But it feels great after. Trust me. Nothing can control you after that. You look, I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. It's almost like somebody coming up to you and trying to chat you up. And you're like, has that ever worked for you? You know, you learn. And so it's great. The lessons are the blessings. That if someone was to speak or react in a certain way and you've actually purged that fact later, you'd look at it and go, that's really not going to work with me. Yeah. Lambs to the slaughter. It's like, look, I'm not silly. I can see how this is going to go, and I don't want you to break your heart. You know, even you will get to a point, you will embody masculine energy to the point you know where they're coming from, and you're kind of like, look, I could literally play you like a candle, and I'm choosing not to. I'm choosing not to because it's just not high vibration, you know, because you learn. I mean, I remember, I think over the weekend, I went out with my partner, and I can read energy regardless because I'm psychic, but read people's body language, you know, be environmentally aware. When you're walking into a situation, do you physically walk in the room and go, you know, and it's all about you? Or do you walk in and go, how is this vibration? What's going on in this domain? And I was observing two individuals working, and they were helping actually flow the traffic, and they were traffic workers, but it was a male and a female. And I tuned into the channel they were on, and the gentleman was talking and saying, yeah, right. The way she was talking, and it was lovely, and she was very young in mind and demeanor. And I literally said to my partner, it's so sad that I can understand what he's thinking versus what she's thinking. And he said to me, well, what is it? I said, well, you're coming from a male perspective, so I'll tell you. He thinks she's very attractive, but from an intellectual point of view, they haven't joined. So all he's interested in is intimacy. Why? Because it's the exchange of communication wasn't there, where they were really talking about a situation passionately, that they had that intellectual connection. He was merely indulging her from the perspective that he felt her intimately attractive. There's a difference. We need to be coherent of these things. Check the channel. Check the channel. Okay? Especially when you played with players. Check the channel. They were your teachers. It will never happen again. Can't fool the fool. You'll only be a fool for so long. Anyway, love yous all. And I'll be back a little bit later. Talk to you soon.